to Crimson Dawn Tarot. Back for another reading with you guys today. Before I get started, I wanted to do a prayer because this is the fourth time I've had to restart this message. It seems like some people or something doesn't want me to get this message out. Okay. Dear God, dear Spirit, dear gods and goddesses, angels, ancestors, guides, protectors, I ask for protection for me and the people watching this. I ask for guidance and wisdom and truth to be revealed to us. I ask for the eyes of discernment and for the ears of divination. I ask that you bless us with the ability to hear the truth and know it, and to see the truth and know it. I ask that you guide us in this path and you protect us not only from ourselves but from others who would try to abuse us and take us off our path. Amen. Okay, that feels better. So like I said, I already pulled the two cards since this is the fourth time I'm doing this video. The cards that I pulled was Malkuth, which represents the human realm, the 3D realm, and then Maltriel, the angel of rain. So Malkuth is the ground, is the kingdom, the 10th and final emanation, the physical world in which we live. The domain of mankind. Malkuth is the emanation of emanations, the culmination of many aspects that form the tree of life. Everything from our bodies to the experiences we have in them to the world in which we exist is Malkuth. The infinite space that expands across the universe is the manifestation of her. The boundless prismatic orb holds all the colors of the universe. At the feet of the tree, the ground stretches outward, forming a base. This is the space where Malkuth exists. She is beyond just being the lowest point. She is the foundation itself. Being the thing that we experience every moment in our lives, Malkuth contracts clearly with Keter, whose existence is marked by a total unknowability. As with all things in the tree, one mirrors the other, forming a complete continuum through which we can understand the boundaries of existence. So Malkuth can be found obviously in the earth, but also in our bodies and even in our home. It's what we experience every single day. As long as we're on this 3D plane, we're all experiencing Malkuth. One can see the tree of life as a literal tree, as a body, or as it is often intended, as a diagram to describe one's inner experiences. This organization reveals the relationships of each sphere in turn, and each of those relationships spawns forth a new concept. This is the domain of angels. They are fire made flesh. An insight into their nature gives them life, and with that life a new character emerges. Each of those figures stand upon a ley line between points on the tree, inviting us to explore its meaning more deeply. And that was Malkuth. Okay, now from Maltriel. Maltriel's touch is seen, felt, and heard. It's a presence. His presence is heavy, filling the air, saturating the ground. Maltriel's heralded by thunder clapping through the sky, signaling change and shift. There is a great migration coming, and its arcs like lightning. The potentiality from one's body is moving to another, a precarious transference, a swift communion like the arrow taking its target. Awareness is paramount for this journey. Don't try to create an outcome for the future. Be in the moment, let the rain fall where it may. Signs. So this message for you, if Maltriel is trying to contact you, you'll see around you or on the internet or wherever a fountain or a cup and or an arrow. If you see those, try to pay attention to see if any other messages come through, even if it's just through your own imagination. You know, I've worked with a lot of people over the years, and one of the things that always comes up the most for beginners is I always hear this is I don't know if I'm making it up, you know. And to me, I always tell them, like, maybe you are, but we're all making this up. Reality is based off of perception. We don't see it as it is. We perceive what we can be aware of, which is not much, to be honest, not in this form. Some of us can perceive into other realms more freely than others, and others seem to be locked out really into this 3D realm. But even if it comes to your imagination, that's no reason to doubt it. Your mind is connected to the all, because we truly all are one. Like I said, though, the signs are a fountain, a cup, and an arrow. All right. Spirit, what cards do you want me to go with first? While I'm waiting to feel a pull to my decks, I want to talk about the earthquakes that just happened in New York and in New Jersey. And what's interesting about that, I was reading up on it, and they say that it registered a 4.8 magnitude on the scale. And if you connect the dots to that on April 8th coming up, it's very, very interesting. Some people can say it's a coincidence, and that's fine. But there's others who know that there really is no coincidences in life. So whether man-made coincidence or not, it'll be really interesting to see how April 8th goes. Alright, so I feel called to... Is it this deck? So this is another one of my put-together decks that I kind of drew up. Not the prettiest, but it does its job very well. This deck is from the book The Exorcist Handbook by Josephine Pauline, I believe. If that's not the correct name, I'll edit it in the title description or the description about the video. But this is one of my favorite decks, simply because it's for exorcists who have a magical perspective or an occult perspective pertaining to dealing with these kinds of energies and stuff, and it's very well thought out. I love this deck. So let's start with this. Alright. What messages do we have for the collective today? What messages do we have for the collective today? Underworld. Ooh. So we have the Underworld, which is down from us in the abyss. It's where our ancestors lie, where the past landscape is, and the front door to a deeper inner place, including demonic realms, death, ancient deities, and massive titans. Interesting. So you guys can see that. So danger. Something imminent needs identifying and to be dealt with ASAP. Course of action chosen can be dangerous at this time. So all my messages, I don't try to promote fear with anything. I believe in being able to face reality as it is and be able to not cut all fear out, because I don't think it's intelligent to not have any fear whatsoever because of how this world is. But I do believe that we can work through these fears, and any message that any reader gives you, you got to take what resonates with you and leave out what doesn't. Because when you're reading for thousands of people potentially, a lot of messages can come through. So if hearing this gives you fear, maybe this message isn't for you. Okay. Then the other card is Lesser Demon. Tend to operate through a human. If this card shows up, be prepared to do a full exorcism with backup. If this card shows up in the helping position, it can mean they can be banished with help. Looks like the Karmics are playing in the 3D realm, trying to work from the underworld to cause some negative stuff going on. So I feel drawn to my tarot deck. Let's pull some cards from this. Tell me more about this. What do I need? What does the collective need to know about this Lesser Demon, this danger, and then the underworld? Okay. Interesting. So at the top of the deck is death. Then the cards that I pulled was Judgment in reverse and Ace of Cups in reverse. So for the Judgment in reverse is the failure to face the facts. You know, that goes back to what I was talking about with the fear, you know. Like I said, I don't feel it's the smartest just to have no fear whatsoever, because fear is built into us for a reason. It is something to overcome, but at the same time, it's something to acknowledge. We don't want to deny our full spectrum of feelings, because that's not a healthy, and it's not really within our nature to do. Then Ace of Cups, repressed emotions, blocked logic, emotional overwhelm, and alteration and emptiness. So it sounds like this is the kind of state that they're trying to put you in, and it may be if it is working, if you are having repressed emotions, blocked logic, emotional overwhelm, it really can stem from the failure to face the facts. But that can stem from just like the karmics or whoever you're dealing with, trying to go to the underworld, trying to work with these chthonic, or for lack of a better word, negative spirits. And I always say negative because they're being negative to you. Okay. So if you call to my other deck I made, let's see. How are they doing this? How are they doing this? I know the Lesser Demon card came out, but what else are they trying to use against the collective right now? A witch. So it looks like a witch is the one that's doing this. So more than likely this has something to do with witchcraft. So if you're dealing with witchcraft, I want you to know that there's definitely things you can do, that your faith will be extremely important in this. One thing that I do that can help is, if you do have that fear and it's really hard or feels overwhelming from you, go into meditation, calm yourself, and visualize that fear as a person and have a conversation with your own fear. This is a tactic that I'll use for myself to really be able to work through some intense or hard emotions that I may be dealing with, and it has worked very, very well for me. But you're not in any danger with this. You're not creating anything negative. You're not creating a poltergeist or anything that'll haunt you when you do this. You're just facing what you need to face. And one way I do that is, once I've heard what this energy has to say to me and I acknowledge it, I'll say, let me see what's behind you. Because most of the time you have these kind of things like lesser demons or spirits or whatever. There's something that they're trying to block from your view. There's a reason they're in your life, and more than likely it's because they're trying to block you from realizing something. Okay. So what else? Let's see. Feel called back to the Exorcist deck again. Let's see. Can I have some more cards, please? What else does the collector need to know about this witch? Tell me about this witch. Okay, so we have elemental. If you're dealing with an elemental, turn it back to its original element. Can be guardian, send back to home. So the only way you're going to get a transmutation of an elemental spirit from one element to another is definitely by some type of spell work. And that would definitely be right up witchcraft's alley. Which, not to say all witchcraft is bad, it's how you use it. So whatever this witch is doing, she's giving witchcraft a bad name. So we have Keeper of the Scale / Angel of Judgment. Call upon when giving your life over to divinity for service. If you are in overwhelming danger from angelic beings that have been bound into action by magic / magical patterns in the form of curses, this angel balances the odds when a new human being interferes with human business. It stops all actions, weighs the good and the bad, then instigates situations that will bring about rebalancing. This being brings balance to unbalanced situations. If the angel appears in a reading, indicates the need to invoke this angel. Ask the Keeper of the Abyss to take you to it. Also indicates a need for balance. So the message for this, it could be very well that you could call out to the Angel of Judgment. Just be careful with what you're doing. Make sure you know what you're doing. But for me, what I really get from this card is that there's an imbalance that needs to be brought back into balance, and the angelic realm is calling out to you saying, hey, we're here to help you bring these things into balance. So with that being said, let's see what they're affecting. What is this imbalance? Tell me about the imbalance. What is this imbalance this witch is trying to cause, or these witches? And that landed on the Judgment Reverse. Nature, Spirits, Elemental. So, card came out is Nature, Spirits, and Elementals. What is it about this elemental here? Spirit, tell me about this elemental. It feels like a fire spirit turned into water, or it could even be your own elemental energies being turned into something else to be tried to use against you. This may sound confusing to some people, but I think it's really imperative to understand how much reality we actually create with our perceptions. One thing that took me a long time to understand about magic is how much of it really is mental, and how really your thoughts are the limit and can be if you know what you're doing. So on the top of the deck, I'll take it because I saw it, but it's trying to stop or change your destiny. So with this goes into spirit theft. For those that know, you can go to the courts for this, the spiritual courts, or even your own ancestral courts. They'll definitely help you as long as you are in good standing with the courts. Or even if you want to change your ways, you can go to the courts and say, hey, I know I've done wrong, I want to make them right, and they'll help you get where you need to be. But the courts are going to be really, really big with this. Even if you want to go to the heavenly courts and the angelic courts, you have that right. We as humans have a lot more domain and dominion than we realize, and not enough of us are exercising these rights, and that is causing a problem here. Okay, let's see. Is there anything else that they're doing or trying to do to unbalance or steal this destiny from the collective? What else are they? Breaking and entering and loans. So they may be targeting your finances as well. See that? Loans. Then you got breaking and entering. So for loans and breaking and entering, they could be trying to affect your work to get you fired from your job, to make you mess up at work. They could be sending you these energies as well to trying to get you into debt and trying to use your phone finances against you. For breaking and entering, there's not, unfortunately, that could mean they're trying to get into your home as well, trying to break into your house, trying to break into your apartment. Or it could also mean trying to break into your Akashic records, trying to break into your destiny, and trying to just take and steal from you. Okay. At the top of that deck is confusion. So if you feel abnormally confused, it might be spell work. You can do cleansing work. You can do spiritual baths. A really good spiritual bath that you can do that's pretty well known is sea salt, Florida water, goat's milk, and then hyssop is a very cleansing bath. And you can use Psalms 23 for that, and that'll help remove all these negative things off of you. And you can do it as much or as little as you feel called to. But I would definitely recommend spiritual baths. I definitely recommend saging your home, cleansing your home. Even if you want to leave water out, blessed water, you can get holy water from a church, or if that's not your thing, you could get rainwater. You can use moon water. You can use solar water. Really, water is a very beautiful tool for cleansing and protection because it holds the vibrations that we put into it. So even just praying over water is very good. Or you can have someone that you feel is a protector to you pray over the water as well. But let's see. So I feel called now to the Shadow Work Oracle deck. So this is more for maybe shadow aspects of yourself that you may need to work on, that may be allowing these people to get into your aura, get into your Akashic records, or get into these attacks on you. So let's pull from here. What shadow aspects does the collective need to work on that would help them with what they're dealing with? So we have forgive self. Accept what has happened and give yourself grace to make mistakes. That's one of the hardest lessons we're going to have to learn as humans, is that we're going to make mistakes. And they could be painful, they could be embarrassing, and they could be downright just give you PTSD. I know we've all had it to where we'll have a thought that just really just makes us cringe. And this situation could definitely be one of them, having to deal with all the toxicity, all the unknowing, all the bitterness, the anger, the jealousy, the hate, rage, pain. And really, until we could start to blame ourselves saying we should have done this or we should have done that, but what is done is done. Nothing else could have been done besides what you did. And we're all doing the best we can with the situation we're in, with the knowledge that we have. And unfortunately, a lot of times it isn't enough. I do admit that. But that doesn't mean it's the end of the world. It just means we have to learn and grow and just work to try to not have these things happen again. But we all know the world can be a very cruel place. So really, if you're dealing with this situation and you're blaming yourself, even if you are at fault, just forgive yourself, because you're not going to get out of this by putting blame on yourself. You really need to forgive yourself, because you having unforgiveness for yourself can be used, especially by a very adept witch or magical practitioner, as a reason, as a right to be able to attack you, even if that doesn't make sense. These people will try to use the most absurd logic to try to justify why they do the things that they do. And if you have unforgiveness, that's a big sign for them that, hey, this is easier for me to get to them. I can use this unforgiveness they have against them. Okay. Now let's see. Dreaming, planning. So what actions can the collective take physically to help themselves? What other actions can they take? That came out really quickly. Yoga. So if you're not into yoga, there's videos on YouTube for basic stretches that you can do, that you could find. I would start stretching, because physical activity can also be very cleansing as well. I'm an Army vet. I was served for 5.5 years in the military, and we ran almost every single day. I used to hate it until I started realizing, after dealing with negativity or dealing negative energies, because the places that I was in was really not really good places, energetically speaking. The military, go figure, I'm being sarcastic, is not full of really good energies. And where I was stationed at Fort Lee, Virginia, we there was a forest that we would go running through every day that was connected to the base, that was extremely, extremely haunted. Extremely haunted. It had a major Civil War battlefield take place in the forest itself, and they still had stuff from that battle set up on a battlefield. I go outside. If you went outside around midnight, you could hear what sounded like cannons going off. It was pretty interesting times, but the more I would focus on cleansing myself as I was running, and I get into a really good breathing pattern and do breath work while running, the more I started to clear myself, which really set off the light bulb in my head how important physical activity can be for cleansing practices. So breath work is also a good one too, but yoga is definitely good for your chakras, and it's also very, very good for your energy as well. So yoga is a big thing that I actually myself need to do more of. I'm probably going to do some after this video. So what else? What else can the collective do? Let's see. Is there anything else? Oh, at the top of the deck, because this is a good one too, you can call upon your gods, your goddesses, your angels, your protectors. I know I mentioned that before, but I'll always repeat that, because this is so important to not try to do everything yourself. You have ancestors, you have guides, you have angels, you have beings willing to help you and go to bat for you. You just got to call on them and let them know you need that help. Okay, so I feel called to my astrological deck now. What areas are this witch or this coven or whatever this is, what areas are they trying to affect astrologically? Yang, interesting. So yang energy. Try to find balance with your yin and yang energy, your male and female energies. When it comes to male and female and the aspect of energies, I think it's important to understand this isn't so much about gender as it is the aspects that male and female represent. Like female's giving and male can be seen as taking. But both need to happen and are very important to each other. There's a balance that needs to happen, and there's no balance without both. So, but on the card it says productivity, expression, and doing and forward motion. So to me, what they may be trying to do is blocking you astrologically to block your forward movement as well. So you can see the card. Okay. Let's put that over here. Is there any other things they're trying to do astrologically? Scorpio. So we got Scorpio energies out, which is Mars. It might mean the witches of Scorpio themselves. Intensity, exposing, purging, and renewing. Maybe you need to do some purging, cleansing. Again, spiritual baths are great for that. Salt is really good. If you can't take a bath, what you can do is you can get in a shower, put a pile of salt on the floor, stand on it, and say a prayer and turn on the shower, and just visualize and try to feel the salt pulling any negativity and spells and anything that might have been casted upon you, knowingly and or unknowingly as well. Because unfortunately, curses can be put on a person just as much by a person who doesn't know what they're doing and just projecting negativity, just as much as someone who does spell work. So Scorpio energies are definitely important as well. Is there any other astrological things they're trying to do? Virgo. So Virgo's is integrity, reverence, and service. Your destiny may have something to do with serving others. So they might be trying to keep you hidden away. They might try to have you want to stay home and not go out and have contact with people. And if you've been a recluse, I would suggest going out and just being in public. It doesn't mean you have to be a people person, but it's good to be around people. Even if you're just sitting in a public place, you would still be connected to everyone around you, which isn't a bad thing. So if you want to go visit family, friends, go to a park, go to a farmer's market, go to a flea market, go to a crystal store, metaphysical stores, go to events, whatever, but it might be a really good idea to go out and reconnect with the world if you haven't. And if you're already doing it, just keep it up, because they're definitely trying to block that. Is there anything else the collective needs to know? No. Okay. So that deck is done. Now I feel called to my I Ching cards by Marlies. Okay, I'm going to butcher that last name. Holitzka. So you can see that. Okay. What does the collective need to know? Okay. 48, and then 46. I know these are kind of all over the place. Apologize for the mess. I need to get a bigger space to be able to do these readings here. Okay. So 48 and 46. Let's see. '46 is Ascension. The sign heralds a phase of exceptional success and recognition. You might even be presented with a chance to establish contact with a highly influential person. Use it with self-awareness, but avoid appearing smug, as this will only spoil things. It is especially important that you work ahead steadfastly and maintain your independence. It could do no harm to build up greater solidarity with other people. Your feeling for things that matter between people will show you the way to better teamwork. The password to your inner development now is self-discipline. By being self-disciplined, your feet stay firmly planted on the ground and lasting success emerges. So it goes back to what I was saying with the Virgo energies about getting out, going on, connecting with people in public. You don't want to try to do anything alone, really. You don't have to. I mean, if you're comfortable with that, then go for it, but we weren't really made to be completely solitary beings with no connection to anything. It doesn't sound like any fun. And then 48, the well. The well symbolizes a deep and inexhaustible fullness of being from which every person creates meaning in life. It represents the fundamental and unchanging needs of humanity. We need to find the source of our true nature in order to reach fulfillment. To this end, we are led by intuitive understanding rather than reason. We understand the boundless variety of the human spirit by feeling clarity, your real desires, yearnings, and needs. Push on ahead to the real and true values of life rather than sticking to superficial norms. In your inner core lies the source of your strength and your clarity. Okay. So really, to recap with everything, to kind of bring it all together. So it seems like you got a witch that's trying to use elemental energy / nature spirits against you. She may be trying to transmute the nature of these elementals to the opposite elements that they are, or maybe she's trying to do that to you. If you're more of a water sign or of an air sign, they might be trying to use those elements against you. And I say she, but take it how it fits, because a witch can be a male, it can be non-binary, it can be trans, it doesn't really matter. Gender has nothing really to do with being a witch, even though predominantly they were women. But other than that, they might be going to the underworld, trying to work with demons. Things need to be balanced because they're unbalanced right now. They might be trying to attack your finances and keep you unbalanced. Definitely Scorpio energy is somehow tied to these people, which Scorpio is about Mars. You might have a debilitated Mars in your chart. I would check that out. There's free apps you can do to look and see that, what aspects are good or bad in your chart, which I say good or bad, but what I really mean is maybe not the best for you. I don't really see good or bad in charts. It's just all something to teach us. Okay. Other than that, I feel called to draw. Actually, I feel called to the runes, and that'll be it. Is there any rune messages for the collective today? Is there any runic messages for the collective today? What is the O? Let me see how to pronounce that. Othala. So the runic message for today is Othala for the collective. What that represents is home, inheritance, group prosperity, heritage, and ancestors. So it goes back to what I was saying: protect your house, make sure you lock your doors before you leave. If you need to get security cameras, do that. Whatever you need to do just to give yourself a sense of peace of mind, really, because that's what it's about. Because that does go back to the fear aspect. You probably can't get rid of the fear, but you can work through it. And definitely call on your ancestors. They're here. That's a clear message for me, that your ancestors want you to talk to them, work with them, speak to them, sing to them, whatever. Just trying to connect to them. They're here for your benefit. Same with the angels and guides and the other gods and goddesses as well. They're only here to help you, but you really got to call upon them and talk to them. Other than that, that's it. Okay. So to close up for you guys, I am going to say a prayer real quick, just because of the situation you may be dealing with may feel overwhelming. Before I do that, though, I do want to mention again, because my eyes were drawn to it, is yoga. Look into yoga for beginners. You can find a bunch of videos on YouTube and just find one that resonates for you and just go through it. It's slow and steady. There's no need to rush or try to make it perfect. The point is you're stretching your body out. It needs that stretching, because stretching can release energy as well, especially stagnated energies. Dear God, dear Creator, guides, angels, and ancestors, I thank you today for the messages you brought through me to the collective. I thank you that we were able to connect in such a way that was beneficial for all involved. And I pray for the karmics that are doing this to the collective, that they see the error in their ways and they turn a new leaf. And I pray for the collective to find peace, to find balance, to find truth, to find success, to find heritage in their destiny, because so many of us are being averted from who we truly are and what we're truly here meant to do. And I also pray that you give us the wisdom and the understanding that we need. Not a wisdom of man, but the wisdom of creation itself, the wisdom of discernment, the wisdom of hidden knowledge. Amen. All right. Thank you guys. I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you guys soon in another video.